Howdy, guys and gals, and anything in between. I'm your host, the Silent Dragon, and I am here to talk to you about two things. And this is a continuation of my previous video, one of my previous videos, where I mentioned how the Xbox One X is the greatest Xbox and possibly the greatest game console of all time. In this episode, I'm going to tell you why I'm giving up on Xbox. Yeah, real big shocker, okay? This is like, the whole Nintendo leak thing, it's a surprise to no one. Or how they or how much they hate pirates, despite the fact that people would be willing to pay you money, Nintendo, if you would just release the game on your fucking console. Okay, Nintendo finally, recently released Super Mario RPG on a Nintendo Switch. About fucking time. See, that's how you get rid of the people trying to pirate and emulate your games. You actually let them buy your games. Okay? You have a re-release. If you give the people what they want, they will not steal from you. Look at Microsoft. How they enabled backwards compatibility for 4 generations. Okay? Seriously, Nintendo, get the fucking gear. Anyway, I hope y'all are awake now. Okay, so all that said, you can play original Xbox 360, greatest console ever made. Sorry. Xbox One. And if you were to get the Series X or S, you can play those games, which are few and far between. I think... What is a Series X game? And yes, I'm going to be referring to Xbox Series games as Series games, not X/S, because that's stupid. Who's in charge of naming this shit? Seriously, did they just spin the wheel of names and say, okay, let's see here, our next console is going to be the Xbox Infinite. Yeah, that works. Xbox Beyond. Hey, it's been 5 years. We need to have more hardware to get more sales and more money from people. How are we going to have the mid-cycle refresh? Okay, let's call it Xbox Infinite X. Give me... Do you know how easy it is to just slap a number on your console? Numbers are infinite too, okay? There could be a PlayStation 100. Well, there's not, but there could be. Anyway, I don't want to get too long into this because my phone will shut itself off. And yes, I am using my phone to record this. Sorry. Anyway, in a previous video, I said how the Xbox One X was the perfect console. And I stand by that. 3 generations is plenty good enough. Okay? By today's standards, even with the remastered or boosts that the Xbox One X and Series X are doing for the OG Xbox, the games still show their data age a little bit, especially if you go and play games like like Jade Empire or try to play the original Fable. Okay, the square letterbox thing. Okay, yep. I don't think it's letting me do it. All right, whatever. Uh, the whole letterbox thing that they do, where it's like just in the middle of the TV where they have these large borders. Yeah. I don't know about you, but that's getting pretty old. If they don't enable you to stretch that out and make it work, then there's no point. Okay? And if you can't get the game to at least 1440p, 60 FPS, there's no point. Now, again, 3 generations. You gotta stop to think about that. How long is a generation? Well, a generation before, Xbox, before Xbox 360 and PS3, a generation was between 4 to 6 years. That was it. But the newer consoles that were in a refreshes like the PS3 Slim and the Super Slim, and then with the PS4 you had the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. Before that happened, you had a system, and that's the system you played it on. At the end of their life cycle, the games might have looked better, but they would struggle a bit because there were newer games. They were trying to push the console to its limits, and sometimes the frames would dip because of that. So it's not too surprising that each generation Xbox goes forward, they sort of cut back the amount of games that are backwards compatible. This isn't necessarily due to licensing, but also due to the fact that, unless these games are very memorable, like, Nintendo has, with the Mario franchise and Zelda. I mean, even to this day, I can go play A Link to the Past and Mario RPG and still have a blast. I love those games. I play Secret Evermore every now and then. I love that game, and will continue to do so. But you gotta have some just real straight up bangers out there. Otherwise, nobody's gonna want to play. I mean, think about this. If you were able to play Jade Empire, I think it came out 2002, 2003. Anyway, say at the best that game is 20 years old. What happens if Microsoft keeps making game consoles and it's like another 30 years from now? Do you really think somebody's going to want to play a 50-year-old game? I don't. I don't even want to play the OG Nintendo games. I don't want to play the original Super Mario Brothers. I don't want to play Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't want to play the original Zelda. I don't want to play Castlevania. Okay? Those games look like shit. And then you have some games that are newer, that are the 3D polygons that age horribly. Unless we get a remaster, not a remaster, if we get a remaster or a remake, yeah, it might be worth playing. I mean, Ocarina of Time might be worth it if we got a remake, but going back to the OG, it's just so ugly looking. It's horrific. And don't get me started on some of the OG PS1 games. They have not aged well at all. You go try to play Jade Cocoon and with their tank controls. Ugh. Okay. That said, I will defend Xbox One X as being the greatest game console of all time. Sales figures aside, The design, very similar to the PS2, Fat PS2, where it's a complete rectangle. It would fit in an entertainment center, no problem. Okay? On top of that, it let you play 3 generations of games. More than good enough. That's all you need is 3 generations. When the PS6 comes out, it should have PS4, PS5, and PS6 games. Then PS7 should have PS5, PS6, and PS7. That should be the momentum for backwards compatibility going forward. If it goes back more than 3 generations, it's going to hold everything else back. It's going to stagnate creativity. Now, with that said, I do believe in game preservations. Okay? But you can get something like this. It's a clone console. It's dirt cheap. I think it's like $100 now. Yeah, cheap. That is the Super Retro Duo. It lets me play 8-bit Nintendo games and the 16-bit Super Nintendo games. Even the homebrew Super Nintendo games. I love that game console, okay? That thing, I play all the time, mostly the Super Nintendo games. Now, there is one 8-bit Nintendo game I will play on there, and that's because it does not have any other means of playing it except for on something like that, because good luck getting a Super Nintendo now, because they're kind of pricey, and they may or may not work, where these clone consoles, they will. And that game is Gyrus. It's a very fun game. It's a shooter where you're spinning around on a gyroscope. Very fun. I'm sure, MetalJesusRocks. I watch his channel a lot. I think I'm subscribed, but if I'm not, I'm going to rectify that soon. Anyway, I'm sure he would love it. But anyway, that's how you preserve old school games. And that's not using emulation whatsoever. It's using FPGA. It's a system on a chip. It's using real hardware. No emulation whatsoever. Okay? So, screw you, Nintendo. Also, with physical media, even those multi-pack cartridges, which are great, by the way, and I do have one of those, because Nintendo's assholes. And they don't believe in game preservation whatsoever. But anyway, the point, I'm getting off track here. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I've been out of work for like 3 months and eat maybe 1 meal a day. So I'm lucky to have survived. But, as you might notice, I'm kind of stuck in the back rooms here. It is what it is. At least I have the Wi-Fi. I get as much water as I want. Tastes kind of weird though. Anyway. Okay, so why is the Xbox One X so great? And why am I getting rid of it? Well, I already got rid of it. Well, I'm not getting it again or any other Xbox. One thing that makes it great is the backwards compatibility. Xbox Game Pass, I know you can't talk about Xbox without talking about Game Pass, okay? You're beating a dead. Take that, you damn horse. Take that. Anyway, so yes, Game Pass will let you play brand new first party games from Microsoft day one, when they release, and because of that, and the cloud streaming, you don't need a series console in order to play them. You can play them on the One X or even the Xbox One OG. But the thing is that because of that, it kind of makes it a moot point to even have an Xbox. You can play these games on your phone. You can play them on a tablet. You can play them on a Samsung Smart TV because I think they have an app for it. You can get a Fire Stick, pop that in, and sideload the app in there or something. Have yourself a cheap Walmart computer that's $200-300, and there you go. You can play Game Pass games on there. The point is that you don't need the latest and greatest Xbox game console. And Xbox 360 games look and run, plus there's a good amount that you can play on the One X. Obviously, 360, you can play all the Xbox 360 games on that console. But going forward, the Series X, I don't know, but I heard they cut backwards support for a lot of the 360 games. So, I don't know what to say on that. But anyway, the Xbox One X, slim design, standard one, comes in black, it goes with everything. You can still use a series controller on there. I got one right here. And the thing is I can also use this on a computer or with my smartphone here. Also, on top of that, the Xbox One X, because the games are 4K 60 and, at best, yes, it's still 4K. It can, on some games, get up to 60 FPS, but it's not going to be, all the time. A lot of times you'll get 30 FPS. But even with the Series console and the PS5, there's a lot of games that don't go past 30 FPS anyway. So what's the point? Okay, I need to wrap this up. I'm running out of time here. So anyway, the main reason I'm getting rid of not going with Xbox anymore is going to be their future replacement. Yes, if Microsoft was to go third party like everybody suspects they're going to do, I mean, let's face facts. They've been in third place for the better part of 20 years, okay? If it had been any other company, they would, whether they had the money to keep going or not from other things, they would have said, screw this. If Sony had been in third place for 20 years, they make TVs, they make cameras, they have, movie studios. If they were in third place for 20 years, you think they would keep making a game console? No. They would end up making software for other game consoles. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. because Microsoft will be stubborn and they'll probably continue for at least another 2 generations. But if they were to go third party, it wouldn't mean anything because we would have another company take over. And that other company that's kind of already taken over, even though a lot of people don't see it as a console manufacturer, despite the fact that they already have. And that company is Valve, aka Steam. The Steam Deck is going to be the future of gaming. I can guarantee you that right here, right now. And quite frankly, I mean, I might just pick one of them up. Oh, but you know that now I am subscribed to him, and you need to as well. Rich at ReviewtechUSA, he talked about this small form factor computer that fits in the palm of your hand. Well, just about any computer fit in the palm of my hand. It's huge. But anyway, you can get insane FPS on that. Granted, it's like 1080p, and from what I saw, it costs around $600, maybe even more if you want a more premium version of it. But Steam Deck's kind of that same price too, and so is a mid-range PC, and yeah, good luck getting a laptop for that price. Am I right? That'll play anything up to the Xbox original. But anyway, I'm running out of time here. I will say this much. The reason I'm getting rid of Xbox is because it's irrelevant. I can get most of the games on other devices, you know, like Nintendo Switch, PS5, which I plan on getting that back later on once I get employed again. And I might just switch to PC gaming as far as that's concerned. Because, quite frankly, I'm tired of paying subscriptions. It's costing me a boatload of money, and it's not necessary. Now, I would like to note that if you want to do anything else, I like to use Microsoft Word for stuff. But, again, you know, that's a subscription now too. But for the most part, gaming on PC, you don't need a subscription. So, that's great. I love that. I hope that never changes. Okay? But, so yeah, I might be going into PC gaming. I mean, I already got a good amount of games on my Steam library. And yes, I am on Steam. You guys can find me and look me up. Now, I think you might have to search under my old username, because for some odd reason, despite the fact that you can change it, it doesn't seem to recognize it. Whatever. So, yeah, I'll leave that in the description below. And hopefully things work out. And I hope you enjoy this video. Slap a like if you do. And hope to see you again. I know it's going to be a while. I'm not able to do this much. You know, I'm over here in limbo right now. So, catch you next time.